Hello everybody, Xword64 back again with another Kirby and the Forgotten Land video. Last video performed way better than anticipated, so making another video seemed inevitable. Plus, more information about the game came out since the new trailer, so I figured another updated video was necessary. Since the trailer came out, Nintendo went pretty heavy on advertising the game on their respective Twitter accounts, and a lot of fans were relatively concerned about the game's progress since the initial reveal trailer for the game came out in September 2021. On Nintendo's and some official Kirby Twitter accounts, we've been getting a decent chunk of info both from the trailer and new info that weren't mentioned in the trailer. For some basic updates about the game, we know that the game's file size is 5.8 gigabytes, making it the biggest Kirby game to date, which isn't exactly that big of a surprise. For comparison, Super Mario Odyssey was roughly the same size as Forgotten Land, and the previous game in the series, Star Allies, was 4.0 gigabytes, roughly, even with all the additional content. In terms of the actual game, we now have an official name for the main hub, being Waddle Dee Town. As we saw in the trailer, this is the area where Kirby and the Waddle Dees will rest after every level. It's an area you can constantly return to so you can update it as the game progresses. Thanks to multiple Twitter posts, we can speculate further on the main purpose of Waddle Dee Town and its features. From what we can see in the trailer, the town is presumably unlocked after the first level of the game, where you meet Elfilin. The town looks pretty ruined and broken down to start, but as you collect Waddle Dees from the various levels in the game, the town grows, possibly unlocking more and more features for Kirby to progress in. From the most recent screenshots released as well, there are multiple buildings in which Kirby can visit. Some of these buildings most definitely need to be built from the ground up and can only be unlocked via specific requirements or level progression, such as obtaining more Waddle Dees. Some of the buildings we can spot are a movie theater, a medium-sized building with Sword Kirby's hat on it, a cafe, a post office, a coliseum, and what looks to be Kirby's house. We can speculate on some of these buildings, but others not so much. I don't really have a good idea on what the post office or Kirby's house could offer. We know that some minigames are playable here in Waddle Dee Town, and one of those minigames could be behind Kirby's house, where we can see him and Bandana Waddle Dee fishing. Another building that holds a minigame is most definitely the cafe, where we can see Kirby trying to get a lot of Waddle Dee's orders correct. The movie theater is most likely an interactive cutscene viewer, which would be really interesting, seeing as you can only access cutscenes via a separate menu in previous games. And finally, the Coliseum and the Sword Hat building are most interesting to me. My theory on the Coliseum is maybe throughout the game you're able to capture the members of the Beast Pack and take them back to the Coliseum where you can duel them in a somewhat traditional Kirby Arena style game mode. The last scene of the new trailer, we can see Meta Knight dueling Kirby in what looks to be a Coliseum surrounded by Waddle Dees, so maybe I'm going out on a limb with this theory, but if anything, we know that there will be a Meta Knight fight in the Coliseum at some point. As for the building with the Sword Kirby hat, I have two theories on what this building could hold. One is a bit of a stretch, and something I would like to see. The other is what's most likely going to happen. The stretch theory is that the game's side or secret collectible could be the ability scrolls from Kirby Squeak Squad. The ability scrolls were like the energy spheres, sunstones, and code cubes, but had a greater feature. Obtaining one allowed you to upgrade a copy ability, so for example, using a scroll on sword or hammer made them bigger in size, and for the new copy abilities in Squeak Squad, Animal, Bubble, and Metal all gain brand new moves as well. So maybe alongside rescuing the Waddle Dees, you can also collect ability scrolls to upgrade the copy abilities? The other theory I have, which is honestly more likely to happen, is that by either collecting a certain amount of Waddle Dees or stars, you're able to unlock outfits or alternate looks for copy abilities. This feature has been present very recently in Kirby Fighters 1 and 2 and in Kirby Battle Royale, so I feel this is way more likely to happen compared to the ability scroll theory, but we'll see what happens. And it's beneficial because it also gives purpose to collecting stars, unlike in my opinion in previous games, Star Allies overloaded you with stars and never had a general purpose. As I mentioned in my previous video, a portion of the game's main story was revealed to us, allowing us to speculate on what else this game can hold. Kirby is enjoying a nice day on Popstar riding his Warp Star when suddenly he somehow enters a dimensional rift inside of a storm cloud, causing him to travel from Popstar to this brand new world. The first level most likely starts on the beach that Kirby ends up on, and the same area that he meets up with Elfilin. The main goal of the game is to rescue the Waddle Dees and seek out the Beast Gang. Not much else is known about the game's actual story, but that's common for Kirby games as their stories aren't typically full of depth, but it's not wrong to assume an appearance of King Dedede in some form along with Kirby traveling to space in some fashion. The game's progress will most likely follow an extension to the formula Return to Dreamland put into place, as Triple Deluxe, Planet Robobot, and Star Allies all follow this level-by-level formula. Obviously, with Forgotten Land, however, they're trying to change it up, so I feel it'll continue down this path, but also follow a similar structure to Super Mario 3D World's level formula, but with a little more Mario 64 exploration to the levels. In terms of the game's world map, we know that there's at least up to 4 worlds as of right now. From the screenshot, we know that the first world is called Natural Plains and has 46 Waddle Dees to rescue. Using this image with the accompanying footage from the new trailer, we know that Natural Plains has 5 main levels and 5 to 6 star levels. Natural Plains' first stage is called Downtown Grasslands, which is definitely the first level of the game. 1-2 is an underground tunnel under construction, 1-3 is a hilltop with some buildings and potentially a park, 1-4 is the parking garage, and finally 1-5 is the mall we saw in the reveal trailer, where the first boss Gorimondo will be fought. These star levels are currently unknown to us and are most likely unlocked at a later point in the game, as we can see from both the screenshot and the trailer footage that they unlock at 2 different points. These extra levels could hold bonus rewards, mini-bosses, or extra Waddle Dees to rescue. It's hard to speculate on the matter outside of the fact that the Star Rift looks awfully familiar to the same rift Kirby enters in the opening cutscene, and maybe the same dimensional rift from Return to Dreamland. One possibility could be that inside these extra levels we could be traveling back to Popstar to revisit a level or revamped segment from a past Kirby game, but it's entirely up to speculation as of now. So we know World 1 is Natural Plains, World 2 seems to be a beach or a tropical themed world with 4 to 5 levels and 6 star levels. As for further worlds, in both pieces of media we don't exactly know what lies beyond World 2, however we can speculate that the worlds that follow are forest, desert, and snow themed, judging by the color scheme of the biomes on the island, along with some screenshots of already existing areas from the game. Some notes I missed in my previous video were that Sleep was also confirmed as a returning copy ability, but that's not that huge of a deal to be honest. In the segment of the trailer, it could possibly be hinting at Poison from Planet Robobot returning as well, although it could also just be a regular old hazard, so nothing really major to look out for. Some fans with a sharp eye also noticed a couple mysterious crystals floating in some of the levels. The ones we know are also colored differently. This could be another collectible of sorts, but I have absolutely no idea on what they can hold. Perhaps collecting every one in a level unlocks one of those star levels? Hard to tell right now. Hopefully Nintendo continues to give us updates on Forgotten Land. Same goes for the Kirby Twitter, which promised some more frequent updates about Forgotten Land and the 30th anniversary since they hit 300,000 followers. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments because it'd be interesting to speculate with a smaller community what this game could turn out to be. If you enjoyed the video, I'd recommend watching the video essay I done on Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I'd really appreciate it, and I spent a lot of time working on it, if you like Kirby content of course. And as always, share, like, subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and like I said in the previous video I made, if this mini-series continues to gain a little traction, I'll maybe continue uploading more Kirby content, but we'll see as time goes. Either way, this is Xord64, signing off.